It's alright, I mean. Ben, wanna come dance with me? Benny? I know you like to dance with Marge sometimes. Benny said, not right now, Marge, but I'm not in the mood. Come on, Benno. Shimmy for me, Benny. Shimmy for me, Benny. Shimmy, Benny. Benny, shimmy, please. Oh, but I got kisses. Is that Margie? You embarrass yourself in front of Benny. Hi, little girl. What you doing, pretty lady? You gonna come join us for the talk? Come on, prettiness. Oh, to the biggest girl. May I have a kiss, please? May I please have a kiss? Oh, movie star kisses. Movie star kisses, my pretty again. The parents is so happy. That's a mighty funny too, and that's not anybody looks. Oh, the biggest girl. You're so pretty. Hello, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm Hailka empath. I just like having a little talks about how I feel about things. Mom likes to chime in too sometimes. Mom, you want to say hi today? Want to wave? Give one of your mom waves. Today was much better than yesterday. I'd say it was a 180 from yesterday. And an interesting thing about it is, I went down to do a consensus at the coffee shop today. I had a couple errands to do this morning, and I went down and I was asking other people, how'd you feel yesterday, you know? And one of my homies, he got freaking slammed with food poisoning. That's how he spent yesterday, freaking getting sick all day. Yeah. Yeah. So however it manifests, and I'm seeing the energy affect people all over the place, and in the live chats. Oh, it's the washer. I'm like, what was that noise? So I'm seeing in the chats, I'm seeing a lot of this stuff in the chats. You know, a lot of people are having a hard time. A lot of people are struggling. And I don't know. I just like sharing what works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, you know, but I just share what's worked for me, and I've learned a lot of things from a lot of people over the years to keep me closer to a balanced state. And that's what we're seeing is a lot of people in balance, and they don't, even though we're all given free will, they're not using theirs to the best of their ability. So we get this version, this mishmash of freaking etheric / freaking spiritual soup across the collective, you know. I always looked at World War III as a spiritual variety, you know. People are fighting for their souls, to keep it, to lose it. Depends on however you vibe, you know. And the story goes on, incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. And I think that people are really waking up to the fact that you've lived a lot. It's not just this one, and then you take a dirt back. We had neighbors across the street. I think they were Mormon. They had a church. And he actually packed my trailer for me, the U-Haul for me. As a matter of fact, they're nice people. And they lived across the street, and they're out of Colorado. Their church anyway, but they were always like, because I keep an eye on the place for them and take their garbage out, or put their garbage out and stuff for them when they'd go out of town on missionary trip. They go to South Central America. Now that's what a lot of these churches are. They're just clubs, you know, exclusive clubs. And then the people that are part of the club, they're so grateful for the people the people sharing the message that they just, you know, pay their whole way. So, anyway, we had some interesting. They thought I was a trip. But they're always very kind to me. So, anyway, I was just before this. There was a premiere. What was that guy's name? What's his? I didn't know he recognized himself as non-binary. We were talking about that at the coffee shop today because I've done videos about this, I don't know, a few years ago. And I just think the last couple of years, I just have been trying to get by in life. So I kind of got a little distracted from, what's coming. Hey, thanks for popping in. Happy week. It's not the weekend, but weekend will be before you know it. Thanks for stopping by, Nate. What was that guy? The uprising guy. But he recognizes his non-binary, Mom. Isn't that weird? Isn't it different? It's not weird, it's just different. And I started talking about this a few years ago because more and more, we're going to see more and more people, like, as they see themselves as a spiritual being, and how that's going to manifest itself, is you're going to have a lot of that non-binary stuff, that the alien faces and just whatever you can imagine. You're going to see people showing up as, like, people started years ago, like that guy that had all those piercings and stuff like that to make him look like, and like had his tongue forked, and I don't know. I used to watch Ripley's Believe It or Not, so there ain't a whole lot of stuff. And from the time I was 15, I started taking trips down to San Francisco. So when you live in these places of diversity, I don't know, but still some of that stuff, I ain't gonna lie, I still find myself a little unnerved with it. I mean, I as much as I consider myself to be a balanced masculine, feminine energy, even though I have, as far as like planetary alignments, I have more masculine and feminine energy. That's why I have to work harder to be the soft and caring and patient and tolerant and all those things that I identify as feminine energies. Everybody has their own versions of what's masculine and feminine. I have my own, and I ain't trying to put nothing of my ideology on anybody. And so when we were talking about, and I get along with guys that are balanced. I get along with people that are more balanced in their energy, and it's like the people that I find that aren't balanced in their energy are the ones that are all, everything's love and light and everything's wonderful, and it's just like totally ignoring all the shadow aspects in life. That ain't very full spectrum. That's a narrow little spectrum to me. That's not a broad spectrum to me at all. Luna, please don't now. I will let you out next. Don't act like don't do this right now. Oh, she said I'm doing it, and I can't even stop me because I'm Luna Tuna. Laser eye Luna. You got laser eyes. You're so pretty. Can you wait a few minutes? Can you please wait just a couple minutes and we go do walk around? We're going to do walk around because I love you so much. She came from South Carolina. That's an interesting story. I have so many cool stuff. Like, even all my dogs have cool stories of where they came from. She came from 56 miles from where the eclipse across the U.S. started in Salem, Oregon, and ended up in South Carolina. She was 56 miles from where it exited, and we ended up in Salem where it started. And she passed through on her freedom ride. She passed through all, like, I think there was like 12 Saint whatevers that it went over, like the saint names, like 12 like names named after saints, and she went through a handful of them. So, and her name is Luna. That was her given name. So it was like she went backwards, and then it went, I don't know. You knew, didn't ya? You little nugget. Love her so much. So, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing people, they're raising their frequency. I'm noticing it more. So maybe I'm raising in frequency, Who knows? Never can tell. But there's a guy today at the gas station. I took a buddy. Today's Day of the Dead. And I have a friend who lives on the reservation, on the Pueblo here. And I love asking people, like, what their background is. Because America is very culture poor. There's very little culture And I mean, come on, Christmas, Halloween, Easter, those are the traditions that Americans it's just ridiculous. You're going to freaking chase after a white rabbit. Right? Huh? Really? It's the story. The gig is up. You can't freaking it ain't funny no more. You know, worshiping Satan, I mean Santa. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. So but he was talking about, because he doesn't drink either. He used to drink. He and I both have craving for alcohol. It's like having a meeting when I hang out with him sometimes, because I'll take him over to see his horses. I've taken pictures of his horses and used them as thumbnails and stuff. And I'll take him down to check on his horses every now and again, because he's a pedestrian, and it's just easier, you know, for him. He gets more stuff done. He can go home and work on his stone carvings. He's the one that did this. He's teaching me. He's giving me guidance on how to carve stone. So I don't know if you can see its face, but there's all kinds of feathers in it. It's really quite a really pretty piece. It's albatross is the stone. It freaking fell the other day, and I was so freaking. I'm just like, don't get mad. I'm let it go. Everything happens for a reason. I was just like, I could feel it, man. I was percolating. Because I was just like, I'm so freaking... It's like I break shit all the time. And it's like, the harder I try not to, the more you make it happen. So, I don't know. I still love it. Anyway. The first time I saw it, I'm like, my, that is awful phallic. I ended up buying it later. Mom's like, what? Anyway. So, we went down and we were talking about it. And how they do it is like... Kind of reminded me of the old AA coffees I used to go to, where on Friday nights where they'd have celebrate sobriety in 5-year increments all over town. You drive from one to another, celebrating people's, you know, recovery, whatever that means. Anyway, so he was telling we stopped at the store so he could get a couple of those little mini bottles of booze, and then they go visit their ancestors who have been long past, because it's the Day of the Dead. It's not about us, it's about them. And he's gonna go see his grandpa and his grandma and pour out a little bottle for them, a whiskey for them, you know, offerings, things like that. And I was like, and then they go around and visit. You know, and after that, you know, they fast up here. He fasted up until a certain point, and then after they go visit the dead, then they can and serve the dead, then they can go eat themselves. I'm like, man, teach me more. I love this stuff, man. I love it. Honoring things, you know. And what do freaking the Americans do? We freaking create made-up military conflicts in far-off countries and call it in the name of freedom, and then create this freaking Memorial Day bullshit, you know? Stop making up fake wars. Stop letting your children freaking sign up to fucking enlist. It ain't that world anymore. It ain't being patriotic and noble and freaking defending your country. It's perpetuating a freaking system that needs to die. Yeah. And change and evolve. Because the way they've been doing it ain't working. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting freedom to ring. Come on, folks. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? Hey, Land of 10. It's nice to see ya. So... a lot of people, I heard Adrienne Elise was talking, had a talk today, and I was listening to her, and I was like, so she was talking about, you know, what is wealth? What is wealth? And I'm like, does that mean all these people that have all this money, they're going to start giving the money directly to people that have the ideas and circumvent these fucking non-for-profits and these bullshit fucking companies that the help never goes to the people? I saw the Muskrat, Elon Muskrat. I can't stand that fucking guy. Evidently, the man said, I'll give you $6.5 million if you can end hunger with it. They can't do it because they're too busy making banners and buses and all, and paying themselves these six-figure to help these people, and it never goes to the people. It never goes to the people. Why don't we hear all these stories about how the government has helped somebody to realize their dream? They're not going to do that. We need to help each other realize. I need to count on the support from the community to help me start my travel center. When I was at the water house today, I go down and fill up my 5-water jug because the water around here it's got so much sand in it, you can't freaking drink it. It's got a lot of minerals and it's hard water. And that's how, in my mind, I'm like, dude, kidneys can't filter that stuff. And I don't want no kidney stones, and I don't want mom to go through that. So we get it at the water shack. And there's a nice older woman there. There's two stalls that you can dispense the water. And then, but one of them's broken. So I always get to see if my virtue's in check when I go there, to see, to practice patience. And she must have been in her 70s, white hair old gal, she had a motor home. And I was like, you're a traveler. I love travelers. It had New Mexico plates, so I'm guessing she was from around here, somewhere. And I was like, I want to have travel centers. I want to have a travel center, and then I will have it's like, in my mind, it's kind of like, it's a campground / RV, and you could camp there in a sleeping bag if you want, have little trailers, people can come with RVs, however, you want to come visit, and there's always going to be like a little coffee shop in the corner where people can fellowship and, and grill if they want to cook out, and I'm going to have a garden. And then when people come visit, if they want to help me in the garden, they can, or they don't have to. It's all. I'm gonna make my dog beds, dog on it, my pet furniture and stuff like that. But I can't do this unless the universe supports it. And so I was telling her about all, and I'm going to have stalls, like a garage with stalls in it where people that are traveling, if they break down, they can come stay and get parts and then work on them there, out of the elements. Because I can't tell you how often I see people trying to change parts and stuff in the Walmart parking lot or, traveling, people that are traveling through, And the lady was like, that is a really good idea. You could have those all over. And I was like, I could, huh? Maybe I will. Universe, please. I've been real good. Not yesterday, but mostly. I was cracking up. Anyway, yeah, those so-called charities, man. I even wrote a letter to Bethel Church. They're supposedly, when I was desperate last year for a place to go, they're supposedly the whole reason why Redding is fucked, because they have all their people that go to that church come in, and they deserve so much, and they're not gonna freaking live in houses that aren't $500,000 and stuff like that, because don't you know who they are? In fucking Christ's name or what? It's a magic school. It's one of those. I'm like, dude, I got the ability of telekinesis. How many people in your magic school have that? None of these freaking abilities and gifts that I've had up until now have ever really benefited me. So maybe the world's changing and switching gears to, perhaps it will. But I wrote them a letter and I'm like, hey, maybe you can help me. And they're like, why don't you get a hold of our customer service? I was just like, what? I'm a veteran. Take care of my mom who's 70. She's going to be 71. All these things that society cares so much about. But I just say this stuff and freaking people are like, oh, she has lights in her background. She must not be worth listening to. It's fucking retarded. I also don't know anybody else that flipped off baby bitch Bush on 9/11. I don't know anybody else on the planet who did but me. Knowing that what a fucking cokehead junkie scumbag he was then. Yeah. Still is. Yeah. You know, because he can't, even if he's sober today, he still did all that shit, and he never, ever had to deal with the consequence from it. And there's a lot of these scumbags that's the case. But the gig is up. The gig is up. People are figuring it out. And the astrology, man, today I saw 333, 444, now 555, and 1111 this morning. That's a lot of double digits. I looked at the clock. I was like, ooh, it's 11/11, November 1. That looks nice on the eyes. That's a lot of ones. Screenshot. So what else? What was I talking about before I went off on my tangent? I do that a lot, huh, Mom? Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. It was another one of those days I never looked at the news or anything today. I just kind of got back from the coffee shop, did chores, vacuum, clean carpets. I do it like once a week because I can't handle the smell of because it's like after like I got to do it like every 3 days because it starts smelling musty and I can't. I'm sensitive to smells and stuff like that. It freaking sucks, man. It's just how it is. But I am much better than yesterday. Yesterday I was just like that. And you know what I was thinking about? I'm like, Marge, because I don't like wake up and freaking do the put on the armor of God and all that. I don't do that. I wake up and I immediately start doing chores. I got to take dogs out. I got stuff to do, So I forget these spiritual, although I know what they are, oftentimes I forget them. And so I got up, but I was just like, Marge, sometimes you really do have to call in your freaking angels, guides, whatnot, your backup, your ancestors. Some have the opinion that they're all in the same, but you gotta do that because people like to freaking. Some people, I've heard some people call them spiritual attacks. You just set bad intentions. Like, you can just, I hate them. That's why I'm like, I really try not to think about people that I don't like anymore. Because it's, even if you wish ill will, that is energy that you're putting out, that ill will is going to come back to you. So, Scorpio moon, I definitely got to freaking make efforts to... Because I know what happens when you're spiteful and vindictive and stuff like that. But sometimes I want to do that. I want to retaliate. Somebody steps on my toes. I want to step on their toes. That is not the course of action I am supposed to be taking. I am supposed to be learning to turn the other cheek. And I don't always do that. I don't always do that. Some days... Some days I'm the jerk in the situation. That's why I was telling the guys earlier today. I was just like, like yesterday, like even when I'm out and about, and somebody's freaking does something asinine and I freaking call them out on it, Like, the guy's like, so that's it? Because I said, I'll flash. I said, I say things in the moment. I get mad. I say things in the moment. But I don't hang on to that. I say it and then I'm done. And then chances are I probably don't ever even feel that way again, But I get this stuff out because I've seen too many people stuff this stuff in. And that's how they get freaking cancer. That's how you just not speaking your truth. That's how people get throat cancer. It's how people get all kinds of freaking ailments, man. Stuffing all that stuff in. So I'd rather people think I'm a lunatic and get it out and then just be on my way, enjoy my day. I was never allowed to get angry. And another idea I got is anger stations. Where you can go, like, we're driving around, you got long drives with the family. Instead of a rest stop, an anger station. You can walk in, freaking grab a bat, freaking break a TV, just release that and be, go back to hanging out with the family, But if you do more stuff like that, I guarantee you're going to freaking have less freaking homicides and freaking people killing their kids and spouses and stuff like that. It's going to happen a lot less. If people have an outlet, you know? But everybody always has to act like everything's okay, and you can't have the frustrations that you have because that'll make you a bad dad, or that'll make you a bad, you know, whatever, daughter, whatever, you know. But energy is energy, and how it manifests. I love these people that are like, you choose to be angry. Which I get to an extent. You choose to be angry. Mom used to say that all the time. It's your choice. I'm like, sometimes I don't got any other choice but to get mad at some stuff, you know? You know? I just don't think that people that don't like really get mad understand what it's like to be really angry. You know, and my system is up here. I think if nothing else happened, if I was not raped as a 10-month-old baby, if I did not see all the freaking times, you know, that mom got abused, if I didn't see all the other stuff, if I only had the experience, if I didn't have the other two near-death experiences, but I just had this one where I touched the electric fence on a ranch out in Palisadro when I was 6 years old, and that electricity went through me. I was like, you know, shocked by lightning. You know, that put my freaking without, you know, but with all the other trauma I had too, my system is up here. People talk about hypervigilant stuff like that. Well, how sweet for you. How wonderfully sweet for you that you've never had anything happen to you where you were so scared that you wanted to, or you did piss your pants. Or, you know, your spirit, they call it disassociation, when it's oh so too much for your soul sack to bear, that your spirit has to shoot up out of your freaking crown chakra and watch from up there so you can be a spectator, an observer of what is happening to yourself. And then come back down. Hopefully you get all the aspects back that freaking went out. I didn't get heterosexual female back. That's the only one that got omitted. But heck, I'm a career single. I've been single more than I've ever been. Longest relationship, last one is like 3 years, and a year and a half of that she was in grad school out in fucking Iowa. Like, what was that? Ashford University or some shit. Which had a huge online presence, which is funny to me because the whole campus was like, dude, education is such a fucking crock, man. It is such a joke. That people pay for that shit. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so. Well, it wasn't for lack of trying. But that was what I've come to find out in my course of path, my life path, is that when I date people, I dated someone that was a Pisces, and then I had a terribly karmic relationship with a gal that was a Taurus. She's in Philly now. She's cutting hair for the NFL. She got in the barber. She got in the locker room for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is fucking married a dirty cop in Philly who's a Jesuit, who touts the fact that his middle name is Ignatius. It's just so weird. That dude is such a scumbag, man. That's how I know what a scumbag is like, oh God, they've been around everywhere. Anyway, so, but when I I can't date signs that are next to me. Because that's like me being with myself. It's too close. Who wants to be with their self? I want opposite. So I like the other signs that are different than me. Even though the last gal I liked, Nora, she was a Libra. She hates me. God bless her. They never tell me what it is that I say. that one thing. I always say that one thing, but they never tell me what it is. Anyway, she has that dog, Obi Dog Journey on Facebook. He lost like 50 pounds. Yeah, that's an interesting story, but anyway, we became close for a minute, but, you know, I love it when they're like, I don't believe in labels. Let's not use labels. And then all of a sudden, the one label that they bust out with ultimately is, I'm straight. I'm like, okay. All right, as you were. I'm glad I helped you figure that out. See, the thing of it is I told her she was a Libra. And I told her, I said, girls like to try, like guinea pig. I've been a guinea pig a lot. I'll try it out, But the thing of it is, especially the game player, the girls that play the games, it's like you can't fucking play games with females because they already know all this shit. And it's not that I'm even a game player. It's just that I've known so many freaking gamey gals in my life and just hearing about how they would treat people. Oh, man. I ain't into it. So I would call. I don't like playing games. Like, I like playing fun games, like throwing freaking, get a hat and throwing a deck of cards so you can get that's a fun game to me. But messing with people, manipulating people, hurting people, misrepresenting yourself towards all that stuff. I ain't into that. I'd rather play by myself. Anyway. Oh, I didn't miss what I missed that. I'm looking at the chat now. Oh, Luna. Okay, I will let you out soon. Oh, she needs to go outside. How long have I been talking? Oh, 30. I'm about my time. I like to keep it. See, when I was in recovery, I got used to. I got my talk on CD and cassette. I'm on, and here, so I'm on multimedia. My talks are across multimedia. I'm on cassette. How many people can you get? I got a 10-minute talk. My first talk. It was a group out there in Omaha where they recorded it. I always thought that was weird because it was like always like you weren't supposed to make money, but the people that started the AA there like went around recording. That's how they like earned their income, is like made a lot of money from recording talk. It's just weird. But those Freemasons, I tell you, that's what I think. The Freemason, the Christmas party in Omaha, AA Christmas for their central office, their only fundraiser they have, is at the Scottish Rite Freemason Lodge this year. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was listening to Zach's talk earlier, and he was like, I've never been in a Freemason Lodge. And I was like, oh, I was. When I lived in Reading, I was like 14, 15 years old. 15. Made friends with this gal, Joycey. And they were related to the Adobe. Like, their family had been there forever, kind of thing. And she's like, oh, let's put on these big hoop dresses and go down the Masonic Lodge and do this ceremony thing. And I was like, and I did it. And I remember wearing the dresses and, like, walking in and being ushered. And they were talking about stuff, but I wasn't really interested. And I hated the dresses. It was so stupid. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that no more. But isn't that weird that I was in a freaking some sort of Masonic ceremony at some point? Isn't that? And so how many people are part of this stuff and they don't even know what they're doing? Yep, and right below it, we moved up there it was like a week after my 5th birthday, or before my 5th birthday, after, somewhere around there. Everybody in town knew where Lost Lanes was, where they did the freaking blood sacrifices. The women from the churches would go down and pray over the freaking altar and stuff like that. Everybody knew. So it's like I've grown up in a world where I've always known this stuff has existed. So it's just so weird. It's always been so very peculiar to me that people are like, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, fucking what? You ever seen a snuff film? Wonder whatever happened to all those people on milk cartons. 800,000 people go missing a year. I don't gotta wonder, man. They make actual movies about it all the time. Anyway, things are changing. People are waking up. I listened to couple of talks today in astrology. First couple, I don't know, a lot of astrologers think this whole month is going to be insane. Rick Levine, he's of the opinion the first couple of weeks are going to be a lot harder than the last. But just take things with a grain of salt. Find a spiritual practice, plug into source outside of yourself, connect to something bigger, better, higher. And If you don't got anybody to reach out to, you can get a hold of me at straightpeoplelikeRainbows2@gmail.com. If you got a vent, just put in the freaking subject matter venting, and I'll delete it. I won't even read what, if it's